Hey everyone, DQDC here. I'm back here in my datapack showcase world where I have a few fun projects working their way through the pipeline that I hope to show off soon. But this week we have just a little vanilla tweak style datapack for spectral arrows. So with this datapack, you can take a spectral arrow, and if you fire it from any vanilla source, so a bow, a crossbow, dispenser, or an entity firing the arrow, you get an invisible arrow with a glowing outline. And that is basically the extent of the vanilla tweak pack. It also removes the particles that normally trail behind the spectral arrows after they're fired, so that the base entity itself is completely invisible. It just has a glowing outline. I can co-opt it for other datapacks, such as my dyed egg datapack from Easter, to have invisible spectral arrows that other entities are riding. So if I fire this egg, it flies like a regular egg or, snowball type projectile. But if I do some tick manipulation here, and then turn on hitboxes, you can see that there are actually two entities here now. One of these is an invisible spectral arrow, and the other is the item display that shows the item that was thrown. If I disable the resource pack real quick, you can see the spectral arrow right there. And it looks a bit wonky just because of how arrows render their direction. It takes a few ticks to catch up with the direction it's actually moving. But the reason I have this is because while all projectile entities can have a projectile spawned enchantment effect that triggers when the projectile is originally spawned, only arrows and tridents can have the hit block enchantment effect or the post-attack enchantment effect, at least as far as I've been able to tell. This means that with an arrow, I can detect exactly what block I've landed in when I've landed in a block, and I can detect when I've hit an entity. This includes when I've hit players, which is another thing that snowballs and eggs can't detect even with advancements, because they don't actually damage players after hitting them. There's a handful of other changes that are made to the arrow to make this work. So the duration of the glowing effect that it gives is set to 0. It's set to think it's a piercing projectile, so that there's not a visible arrow left behind in any players that it runs into. And a handful of other things, including manipulating the damage of the arrow and armor effectiveness. Just a handful of workarounds to make sure that it can detect any entity it hits without doing damage or having any other side effects. But if I let this arrow go, you can see that all of these dyed eggs are in fact just spectral arrows doing a little bit of extra work behind the scenes. That is it for this mini vanilla tweak update and little Easter egg explanation. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing so you can see some of the other fun data packs I'm working on in the future. But that's all for now, and I hope to see you all in the future.